Yeah,
Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. Yeah, woo, that's my girlfriend too. Hey, shut up, man.
Shut up.
Yeah, woo, that's my girlfriend. I love that. It's like, yeah, one of my favorite parts. And we've got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
But wait, there's more.
when he's spitting, there's more.
And we've got Cameron Mickle on the podcast.
I'm the king of the world.
Yeah. And we've got Grant Mickle on the podcast.
Ooh, is that drool? Yeah, I forgot to swallow.
Oh my gosh.
My
It's
honorable
great.
mention
Great
quote was, "Everybody's got secrets in me."
That part is wrong on so many levels, dude.
Wait, which scene was that? Remind me.
That's the gym
That's
teacher.
the
The
Miss
gym.
Man.
No.
Yeah,
Miss
no.
Man.
standing there.
Everybody's
all
got secrets
short
in
shorts.
me.
Yeah. No, some of my favorites are like, I can't even describe him. He's just like, I'm going to show you a few photos and you just let me know. He like shows her all these photos of him in a Speedo. And he's like, is this
no.
doing it for you? And she's like, no, sorry. He's like, are you sure?
Wait, take another look.
Wait, take a look
Take
at this
another
one.
look.
Still no?
Still no.
Ah, all right.
That actor's so funny, dude. I love
All right,
that.
you're good to go.
Yeah, in Psych, he was hilarious. Oh yeah.
Woody,
Well, so we should tell everybody what we're reviewing. Today we're reviewing.
I make poopy. Someone get him out of here.
Are you saying you made a poopy in your pants? Guys, today we are talking about Scary Movie. This movie came out in 2000. It stars
It could
Anna
not
Faris,
be made today.
John
I want to make that
Abrams,
clear.
and
why it's
his director
2000.
was Keenan Ivory Wayans. So yeah, the Wayans brothers.
yeah, this
which
hits all the
makes
food
sense.
groups. It hits racist, phobic,
Sexist.
phobic. It's all the main food groups.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and making fun of like everybody. It's so great.
Yeah.
Homeless people, my favorite. You know,
I said
like, here,
$1.
a sandwich.
$1.
I said $1. It's a sandwich I got. One of my favorite.
And
jokes,
right before that, she's like, "I just want to help my fellow man," and like,
Yeah.
go
Oh,
serve-
get away from me,
Get
you
away from
filthy
me.
homeless person. So funny. Come on, dude. When I was a kid, that was just the funniest joke you could make, dude. Just some filthy homeless man that's like crass and yelling at some bimbo that thinks she's doing some good in the world, offering him his sandwich. She's like, I don't want your dang sandwich. I want $1 so I can buy some more speedballs and wine, dude.
Oh, and I
It's
can
so good.
confirm that one of my good friends, she bought a bunch of like Happy Meals to give to the homeless, and a homeless man said, "I don't like McDonald's."
No, Cameron, I tried to give a
He's like,
Domino's
that's
pizza.
a little too white trash for my taste.
I
Thanks.
tried to give a Domino's pizza to a homeless person, and they're like, "Ew, get that tomato paste away from me." And she's like, "Where's your money?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Dude, I didn't keep a gift receipt.
And then Jordan proceeded to rob her. So hit my face.
No, I just felt really bad, and I just threw it away.
Well, yeah, we all have
Domino's pizza.
experiences. The homeless, they want one thing, and that thing is love. And we're all too busy to give it to them, all right? Besides, don't you know that they've tested this product on animals? Do you know what they do to those animals?
It's like the monkey with
Like this
lipstick.
monkey with lipstick on his face. That got me to die, dude. Like, it's just the idea of like trying makeup and shampoo on animal tests. I don't know why that's so funny. It's like, oh no, it made the animal with makeup on his face. It's good. That is so funny. But guys, today we're reviewing this goofy movie. It's supposedly a comedy, but I think this is just a spoof movie. Cameron, get us into it, man. You picked this. The world's gonna know. So why did you pick this? Or what was it like watching this for the first time? What's your experience with this movie and rewatching it for the podcast?
I'm surprised I went all through high school without watching this somehow. Maybe it's
Mhm.
just because it's like a little bit later generation. I think like Cabin in the Woods was kind of more like people my age kind of were watching that in high school, which is kind of the more like futuristic spoof version. Because this also has like very similar, it's got that same feel as Good Burger. I think that's why it also like really resonates with me. It's because it's got kind of like that cheese factor that of just like the I'm flying with, like it's just got that kind of feel. So I think the first time I watched it, correct me if I'm wrong, was Jordan. Did I watch it with you for the first time?
Yeah, and you hadn't seen Scream, and so it's fun that now that you've seen Scream, so I'm interested to
Well,
hear.
so yeah, so first time I watched it with Jordan, and I thought it was like so funny. I cried. We rewound the King of the World scene probably like 6
Amistad 2.
That was, oh man, like it could only be made by a black director,
Yeah.
because of the jokes. But
A
I
white
love.
woman just died. We're getting the
We're getting out of here.
Get out of here. Get on up. I love
Run!
that. It's like, hey man, your mom's a stupid. And he's like, yeah, well, that would make her your mom too. Yeah, well, at least my dad ain't stupid. I didn't know my dad. Yeah, I didn't either.
Me neither. Which is funny because that his dad is actually the director of this movie. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh gosh.
And I loved it the first time, and so then I rewatched it with Grant and Jake, which I think was Grant's first viewing, and we were crying laughing, especially because so when I watched it with Jordan skipped over the parts that make him uncomfortable, like the this man scene. And so the first time I saw it, because I was like, oh, this movie's like actually really, really clean, but it's because Jordan skipped over all of the like the weird parts. And so I'm just watching it with Jake and Grant, and we're like, what the fudge is going on? Oh man. And yeah, it was so funny. And then I rewatched it again for the third time for the pod with Drew and Colton, which I was a little nervous because this is not either of their type of humor. Like both, like I know Drew wasn't a big fan of Good Burger, and I just don't think that this is kind of like what they grew up on. So I was a little nervous going in, but they were laughing a lot. So I think it's a pretty easy show to like, especially to boys. I just think it's really funny. So it was just as enjoyable like on the rewatch.
Do they like white chicks though? Because I feel like that's this. Yeah, that's this movie. I mean, it's directed by the Wayans and stars the Wayans. It's that vein of humor that's just so over the top, slapstick.
Yeah, but this one
It's
is
ridiculous.
even more risque.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
This is the R-rated white chicks.
Was White Chicks PG-13? Now that I'm thinking about it,
I think
Yeah,
they
there was a
slid that
deleted
by,
scene with like apparently like with the white chicks that like when they're all or whatever, like at the like sleepover. There's like a scene with the or whatever, and there's supposed to. It was funny. Kelsey actually was the one that showed it to me because she's like, I somehow saw the unedited version or whatever. So that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah. They still have the same white guy that the detective that was in the White Chicks is also in this. I don't know what it is. Not Bobby. What's his name?
Grant, you want to go?
Yeah, so like Cameron said, I watched it with him and Jake for the first time. We were just like crying and laughing at so many parts. And then it was interesting rewatching it. Like I watched it by myself. Like I think the audience is a big part of this show, is like watching it with a bunch of friends and laughing together, because like it wasn't, I mean, it was funny. Like I was laughing at parts, but like it wasn't nearly as funny as watching it with other people. So that's something I would suggest, is watch it with other people that would enjoy it too.
Yeah,
Lachlan
and it's like it's excellent not only because it's a crowd, but then also since it's Halloweenish, but like also really funny. Like it's just a kind of like a really good combo if like the group doesn't want to watch something like thriller or horror.
The Victor Crowley of movies, talked about that movie on here before. Grant, how about you, man? Watching it for the first time, rewatching it for the podcast.
So Grant just went.
I just went. So it's Jordan's turn.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Wait, Grant, why did you go? I never gave you permission to speak. Oh yeah, wait. Did I say Grant? I'm sorry. Wait, yeah. Cameron already went. Grant's gone. Jordan, your turn. I'm sorry. Too many Mickles on the pod.
My brain is fried. I have no idea when I watched this for the first time.
I remember Jordan was showing me scenes from it when I was in Provo. So I don't know whenever that was.
No, that was the third one.
No, I remember scenes from the third one, but you also showed me clips from this one as well.
Well, yeah, I think that's just it though. I've only seen clips. It wasn't till like I was probably in college before I watched the whole movie, maybe.
Oh, really?
Or out of college. I don't know.
This is kind of the quintessential movie that you've seen scenes from, because when Drew watched it, he's like, I don't know if I've seen this movie, but then he's like, I've seen so many of these scenes, I've just never seen them spliced together in one movie. I was like, yeah.
Well, because you can really take any segment. It's just like a lot of funny bits
strung together by by an overlay of the knockoff.
Is there any plot?
Scream? Yeah.
No.
I want to come back for the sequel.
I lack of discover things about yourself. I'm gay now.
So it's
It's
Ray.
like, so it's Ray.
I'm not gay.
I'm not gay. You took me to that club. They got good
They play
music. I
Wait, whoa.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember the first time. I just love this movie, and I've shown it to a lot of people. And I feel like I've seen the third one because that one's PG-13. I feel like I've seen that one first, and I love horror movies, and so this is. I love parodies too, and so this is like a perfect combination of those things. And honestly,
Not in the least bit scary, though.
no,
I mean,
no,
right?
yeah, my wife won't watch scary movies, but I showed her this, and she thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
There was a few moments she's like, "Oh, this is a little scary," and I'm like, "Oh, just wait 2 seconds. They're gonna throw in a joke."
I can see you from where I am. Guess where I am? Are you standing behind the couch? Wait, how can you tell? Your feet are sticking out. Dang it.
Yeah, and I just love all the jokes. Like Grant said, this is a perfect crowd movie. And wait, Cameron, so you said it is funnier though after having watched Scream, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, and now that'll get into my favorite, my favorite.
Two favorite
two of
things.
my favorite things, but
Okay.
yeah,
Because I haven't seen Scream, and so
you
that'd
need
be
to watch it,
interesting.
Grant. It just makes this movie even more disrespectful. At first,
Especially
I was
Dewey.
just like, oh, this, yeah, Officer Doofy Bro is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen.
Is it a play
Yes.
off one of the characters or something in
Yes.
Scream?
Yeah, when you
Okay.
meet him too, because he just seems a little off. And so
He's off, yeah.
yeah, and so
They
they
do.
like amplify it to 100%.
That's
So
funny.
yeah, having watched, because I'm a huge horror fan, every little detail is just like, oh, they take all those. It's basically like watching Weird Al music videos. It's the perfect parody. If you had seen the original and then watched his, you're like, oh my gosh, like these jokes are 10 times even more funny. So Ty, what about you?
Yeah, so Jordan, you showed me scenes of this, but yeah, I guess like the full first time I saw this, I think it was in college. I watched like all scary movies back to back. And it was like around the time where I started realizing like these
It
movies were
decreases in
just
the franchise, don't you think? I think
yeah,
I
it's
think
diminishing returns 100%. Yeah.
100%.
I mean, it was scary movies 1 through 4, which I think after 3, I was just off that train wagon pretty
But
much. But
well, 3 we enjoyed when we were younger. It's just
yeah,
everything seems hilarious.
yeah. It's just like Three Stooges slapstick.
Mhm.
It's mocking movies that I love, like Signs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Leslie Nelson is like one of the funniest comedy legends, in my opinion, from Airplane and stuff like that. Naked Gun series. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, he
yeah.
is so funny. Oh
Yeah,
my
he plays the
gosh.
president of the United States, and he's just constantly. I mean, it's his character from Naked Gun, but he's
Yeah.
the president, and it's so great. Anyway, so like this one unfortunately doesn't have it, which I think he was a welcome addition and missing from this. Every time I watch Scary Movie 1 and 2, I'm always hoping for Leslie Nielsen to show up. But anyway, it's hard to even pinpoint exactly. Yeah, the first time it must
Yeah.
have been like you said in college, but like I'd seen so many clips from it,
Clips.
and I had seen a lot of the movies. Like I watched Scream, I'd watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, all those like I went through like Friday the 13th,
Blair Witch,
Nightmare on Elm Street, Blair Witch, like all the scariest
The
movies I
Blair
could
Witch
while I
is
was in
really
college.
funny. The snot.
That's so gross.
It's so great because like there's so many scenes. Yeah, like because I watched all of them because I was like, yeah, these were like the biggest, scariest movies that were existed. So I obviously wanted to see all of them because I was kind of like on a kick to see if I could scare myself. And this was
And Ty so desensitized he doesn't have a soul anymore.
yeah, I know. I don't get scared easily, guys. I gotta say. So rewatching it now today, I was just beside myself. I was laughing at so many parts and the quotes I wrote down because I was just surprised at how this humor, it just gets my funny bone. I don't know why. It's so stupid and over the top, and a lot of it is so irreverent, but it still just makes me laugh to this day. So yeah, I was happy to come on the podcast and talk about this. So
White girl in trouble. All the cops are like,
They're
Oh, white girl
instantly.
trouble.
Like girl trouble, and all these cops just show up. It's so good. I love it. And then like he gets there and he's like, Sydney, I can explain, and it's like a pair of gloves and a knife. All out of his hands.
yeah.
Like I think in the movie, I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it the Scream mask or like there was something suspicious, and you're like, oh, I guess I don't know if I trust him or not. And then there's enough proof that he's off the hook, but then you're like, oh, without spoiling Scream, you find out, who the killer is. And then you know, this movie does that so well, mocking all that. I don't know. It's Jordan already quoted it, but wait, there's more.
There's
It's
more.
so ridiculous, like, and over the top. So anyway, absolutely love rewatching this movie. So stupid. Good. Let's get into two of our favorite things. Cameron, start us off. Two of your favorite things.
I mean, my first thing is kind of what we already alluded to. Is just, especially after watching Scream, Officer Doofy is just the most disrespectful character that has ever been created. Because like in Scream, because that's why after watching this first and then going to watch Scream, I assumed that like the officer was actually like dumb or like on the spectrum, and then it was just some regular guy. I was like, this is so evil, bro. I'm like, he did not deserve this kind of treatment. And it just makes like Officer Doofy even that much funnier. Like
Mom says when I wear this badge, you gotta treat me.
yeah, or just like stop, and then he's like, I'm like, what is going on, bro? Just everything that he does is like so funny. And then I just love like the switch up at the end of how he's just like some cool dude who's just like been conning everyone else.
The usual suspects twist, right? Yeah.
My second favorite thing, I was just like surprised. I'm surprised like every time at how like the chemistry between the characters is like so funny. Like I was really impressed, like especially even on the first viewing, like the two brothers from White Chicks. I was like that, the what's it called, brothers?
The Wayans brothers.
Wayans.
Yeah, the Wayans brothers. Like they're so good, as well as John Abrams, or Abrahams, who plays Bobby. And
Probably Abrams. Abrahams.
no, it is Abrahams.
No, I know it's
I know,
spelled
you
Abrams. I'm
pronounce
pretty
it
sure it's pronounced Abrams. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
That's how you say it.
But I'm gonna
JJ
start
Abrams is
calling-
spelled differently.
I'm gonna start calling you Abrams. Abrams.
Because JJ Abrams is spelled differently. Anyway,
I know it is. Sorry. I'm sorry, I love that. Abrahams.
just I was just super impressed with how like I love like the back and forth banter between them all. Like they're like, do you know what they do to a guy like me in jail? Like, I'm in fresh meat. He's like, no, maybe we should call the cops, guys.
Oh, I love when you. That's not me.
Like,
Oh, it's so dude. So funny.
I love all those jokes and like the quick banter back and forth. Like, and like he's like, I'm okay. I'm gonna head out. No worries, no need for that. And then like,
yeah.
we gotta get rid of
The
the
whole, yeah,
alcohol.
they hit this guy on the that reminded
We
me
hit
of
a food.
the SpongeBob, what was it? The SpongeBob episode where they think they killed the health inspector. That's basically the whole
100%.
And he's
episode.
like his head
He
sticking
keeps
out.
coming to, and then they keep knocking him back out, and then he keeps falling
Uh-huh.
down, and they keep thinking he's dead when he's not. It's so funny. It's great.
I just also love like the personification of like just high school and like playing on those tropes, because normally I hate it when it's like over exaggerated, like
Like 30-year-olds playing high schoolers.
yeah, well that's why I love that even brought it up.
Spider-Man 1.
Like,
Yeah.
like yeah, Tobey Maguire, like 38 years old playing a high school.
You guys think that's egregious? I saw Andrew Garfield and I was like, this kid is not a high schooler. But anyway, it
Let's
bothered
just
me
be
more with
good
Andrew
looking.
Garfield than it did with. Then again, I think age played into a factor because I'm like, high schoolers did look that big when I was 10 years old. Oh, that's good. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, high schoolers look like children.
I know.
Once you get old like me. Oh, it's good stuff. Well, Grant, how about you, man? Two of your favorite things.
I mean, Ray is my favorite character for sure. I just love how they like push this whole like, all right, everybody, it's shower time. Let's go.
Hey, does this shirt make you look gay? No.
What
How
about now? How about now? He's like,
Just-
no. Yeah, cool. There's just
Cool.
like so many quotes from him that are just so
No.
funny. Like Cameron mentioned when they hit or they're like, Cindy's like, we should call the cops. And he's like, do you know what they do to men in prison? And he's like, maybe we should call the
We
cops.
should call the cops. He reminds me of
Oh.
he's
Or when he's like,
playing
put,
like
put on the
Mac.
shoulder pads, baby.
Yeah. Brandon.
I mean Brenda. Brenda.
Brenda, I mean.
He's
Yeah,
like, Brandon's
it's
like,
it
"No."
reminds
the
me
first-
so much of the humor from It's Always Sunny with Mac and his character in the closeted
Yes.
gay. Like,
Oh, I love those jokes. Or Tobias
the-
from Arrested Development.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Nothing wrong with
No.
that. He's like listening to himself.
Oh, Tobias, you old.
Okay, I love Cameron was crying laughing when they're carrying him, and he's got his shoulders, and the other guy's got carrying his
Oh, yeah,
legs,
yeah,
and he's like, he's practically like,
And then when he dies, and he's like, I was dying at that. It's just on top of him.
That part was funny because I love his quote of that part too. He's like, Cindy was like, "You guys are psychos. You've seen one too many TV shows." He's like, "No, watching TV shows doesn't create psycho killers. Canceling TV shows does." And he's like stabbing the guy. Canceling TV shows does.
Okay, I'm getting a little woozy here.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I don't know. He was my favorite character, and then just it's just like I like the meta stuff too. I think just like self-aware.
Oh yeah,
plays
like
really well
I
in
can
the
sum up
movie.
my two favorite parts actually from two jokes in this movie. So one of them is the stairwell. I don't know why it's so funny. She's running up the stairs, throws a potted plant at him,
Yeah.
and she grabs a bicycle that's parked on the stairs, throws that down at him, and then she sees her grandma. She's like, Sydney, and she's like, throws her girl, my hip. So funny. And then of course at the top of the stairs, killer's going after her, and then the piano starts rolling down. It's just the funniest style. And then the
And then the
grandma
piano
getting
hits
hit
the
by
grandma. That's so funny.
that's just like that was the funniest. I thought that was peak comedy when
Yeah.
I was a kid. Like that was the funniest anything could be. It was so funny. And then like, you know, Scream's mask changing all the time, you know, like when he's smoking weed, he's like, I love you guys. And his eyes are like all squinted. So funny, dude. Yeah. Jordan, you go. What are your two favorite things about this movie?
Grant touched on it. Like, I love that character, but honestly, I love all the characters. Everybody kind of has their own persona, and it totally pokes fun at just kind of the tropes of every horror character. You know, they got the big jock, and then they got the ditzy blonde, and they just all hit all the notes so perfectly. Especially if you love horror movies like me, it has everything, but then just so it while being a horror movie, but also just completely ripping on them and how ridiculous and stupid they are. Like, but I
like the
love
safety and danger sign. She's like, goes the danger way.
that. There's like all these weapons.
The grenade and
Safety,
the banana.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
And even like hiding behind a tree when your killer's like literally right behind you, and then like backing up backwards away from the tree. I don't know. It's just very
yes,
funny.
or when she looks out the window, and then usually what they do is you see it from her point of view, and then it cuts back, and usually he's gone.
And he's
But I-
faded.
Yeah, you see him like
he's
run
got-
away.
I
you
just
see
love him like running
run behind the
away.
tree.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
like that.
That's the other joke though. Sorry, Jordan, was when he tosses a note and it's like, I know what you
Yes.
did last summer, and it's
yeah.
It's
he
a
thinks back
flashback.
to the time when her boyfriend was like giving her a hot dog in her mouth. And then she's like thinking back on it, and then another note's on her desk is like, not that memory, you beat. I know that you killed the guy.
I meant that
For
you
some
killed the
reason,
guy.
like the idea that this meta moment where it's like you're not remembering the right memory. It's so stupid, but yeah, jokes like that don't make any sense. But it was just obviously to mock this whole situation. It's
Yeah.
nonsensical. It's just funny for the sake of being funny, and there's something kind of wholesome about that.
And then there's just endless quotes. Like, I mean,
yeah.
she's like, I understand what you're going through. And then he's like, what? Your boyfriend's got a do? And she's like, no, I got a note.
No, I gotta know.
I gotta know.
I love too when they're about to throw the guy into the water that they just killed, and the girl's like, "Shouldn't we at least check his wallet?" She's like, "For what?" It's like, "Well, he may have some money. We've already committed murder. We
killed
might
him.
as well rob him."
Oh, I got a gold ring. I got his credit cards.
I got a
Oh, it's so dumb. Oh, that's great. Too funny. Would you guys recommend a scary movie? It's Halloween. If horror movies aren't your forte, this movie is neither scary nor is it like an actual horror movie. This is just straight out mocking all those things, and you could fool a lot of people into thinking you saw the real thing.
Yeah, well, and I think you could still enjoy
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah,
my wife
without-
she doesn't watch any horror movies, and Cameron, for the first time, didn't watch any of those horror movies, even though it is funnier when you have seen them.
Would you be as bold as to say you'd bring your wife on this podcast and she would admit to the world and our listeners here that she enjoyed the movie, Jordan? Would you go as far as to say that?
If you want, I can get her.
I was just kidding, because you're like, she didn't watch any horror movies, but she enjoyed this movie. I'm like, I think you enjoyed it enough for the both of you.
Oh, I mean, that's a possibility, sure.
I'm only teasing you, dude. I know it's like, oh, and she loved it. It's like, I think you're using the term loved it generally.
I don't think I said loved. I said she
No.
really liked it. Did I say
Right,
loved?
liked it. No, you probably didn't. I'm just teasing you.
He's
like,
trying to tease you, dude.
yeah,
Why would
I was
that
teasing you because it's
happen?
like, and maybe she did like it, but you're right in the fact that yes, this is not a scary movie. There's really nothing in this that could possibly scare you. It's just such a joke. Well,
If
that's
you don't
not
mind
true.
irreverent
There is a
and
scene that
crass
scares
jokes,
me.
then you'd like this
There-
movie.
There is a scene where she unbuttons her top and then proceeds to show a man's chest with this hairy man's chest. Absolutely disgusting. That scared me.
We settle for
Absolutely scared.
PG-13 and the jiggle sound
Glasses
is
and then it's
illegal.
just some fat chubby
Illegal.
man like flashing him, and he like falls out the window. That scares me.
Wait,
That was terrible.
Todd's gonna tell you if she likes Scary Movie.
Tatiana, do you
the
like
first
scary
one?
movie?
Did you like the first one?
Is that the jokey one about?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was funny.
There you go.
Glowing
didn't believe it?
review.
No, Ty wasn't believing.
I was gonna say, I think Jordan roped you into watching the movie, and you don't watch a lot of scary movies, so Jordan was like, "Oh, Tatiana doesn't watch scary movies, but she enjoyed this one," and I'm like, "Well, it's not a scary movie, first off," but I was
it's
teasing
a
with the fact
comedy.
that maybe you didn't even enjoy it at all. But I'm glad you're here to set the record straight.
Yeah, it's only because it's a comedy.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly, folks. This is the least scary movie. It's called Scary Movie. Go watch it.
It is
Um,
funny when you tell people, "Hey, we should watch Scary Movie." It's like, "Oh, that I don't like scary
What's
movies."
a scary
Yeah.
movie.
Well, that's
Great.
it's funny because I told Colton, I'm like, we're doing scary movie for the pod. I'm like, if you guys want to join me, he's like, oh, I don't like scary movies. And I'm like, oh no, they're comedies.
I love it. He's thinking, Sixth Sense, I see dead people.
Oh yeah, that was another quote.
Yeah.
I see dead people.
You see dead people.
Give me more of that crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of iconic horror movies that were mocked in this one. So, well, folks, we end every movie podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately and movies that we're looking forward to. So I'm going to finish by saying, watch Clarkson's Farm if you haven't watched it. The second season, I've started it.
Still plugging it.
It's so good. I'm on the second season now, so I finished all season one. Just a great show. Highly recommend it on Amazon Prime if you haven't seen it. And watched like all the Harry Potter movies. I've been reviewing them on Letterboxd. It's a tough going just because watching them as an adult, like, yeah, there's definitely charm and whimsy, but like part of me is just like cynical now and old, and I'm like, Harry Potter is not my age anymore. I'm an old person
That's
watching
funny.
Harry Potter, and it's very different. I'm like, Arthur Weasley should really have put up more of a stink about Harry Potter just dropping by unannounced at his house, but stuff like that. I'm like, the parents had a point here or whatever. The Dursleys are a little more relatable than I think. Ungrateful kids, locking your kids in a broom cupboard, especially the ones that are ungrateful. So no,
That's
but
funny.
it's been good fun. The Harry Potter movies are really well done, and it's crazy. I just heard, well, I'm sure we mentioned it here, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
HBO is now going to redo all of them, and it's just so weird that like I'm so
What?
not far removed from the series. But there's some casting calls that I actually do like, which was Draco Malfoy is going to now be Lucius Malfoy. So the Draco actor is going to be playing the father, which I think is kind of cool because if you think about it, that actually does seem like a generational thing, like abuse leading to abuse. So I kind of like that he's now going to dish it out as Lucius Malfoy to his new son, Draco, which I kind of like. So, but other things like that, other actors.
Are they making a
and-
TV series, or are they like
I
just
heard
doing
it's
a
a
TV
HBO,
series?
they'll do 10 episodes, and each season will be a book. So they'll do 10 hours basically
Oh.
of a book, and I'm like, they might even be able to add things in that they couldn't get to in the movie. So I am intrigued, and HBO does a pretty good job, so I am curious to see
Usually.
what they would do. And JK Rowling still has all creative control, so I think she does a really good job with the stories that and adaptations like
I'm
she
a
did
little
with-
nervous though because
help with the movies.
listening to her tweets because she's on Twitter. Like, she's kind of bananas now.
I don't
so.
think she's ever said anything wrong.
J.K. Rowling.
I don't have Twitter, folks. I don't know.
Well,
what she
because
said,
Grant,
but-
people keep asking her questions like, "Why is
J.K.
there
Rowling?
toilets if you know?"
yeah, they
Oh,
just
so she
made their
tries to
poop
explain
apparate. Yeah, they
everything.
She's like,
just
just
Yeah.
apparates it away.
they just
Wasn't
magically
that
wish
wasn't
their
that
poo
too
away.
how she was like spur of the moment, like, oh, Dumbledore's gay or something?
Just she started saying all sorts of crazy stuff. I don't know. So
She said a lot of things that people were like fine with at first, and then people were starting to like catch on. It was like this crazy was just won't stop talking. So yeah. Anyway, it's a classic case of the more you know people, the less whimsy and charm they have. Kind of like Stephen King. I'm like, dude, you were like one of my favorite horror book writers, and now I can't hear anything but his political opinions every day. And I'm like, yo, I'm not interested. Like, make the killer clown again. Like, isn't that who you are? Like, just make this creepy killer thing, and I don't need to hear anything else that you have to say. You know,
they're
it
part of
just makes
the
him so less interesting. Yeah.
they're part of the FAG. What's the Film Actors
Film
Guild?
Actors Guild. It's the Screen Actors Guild, but yes, the parody of Team America, Nat and Trey Stone.
Talking about
Nat, yeah,
what are they called? Not
Trey Parker,
politicians,
Matt Stone.
but actors giving
Yeah.
their political opinions. And how dumb it is.
It's good
That's
stuff.
funny.
Yes. What would we do without their razor sharp political advice?
Oh, that was
So-
Get Smart, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
I thought
anyway.
that was red. That's Get Smart. I guess that is. Get
Let's
Smart.
get smart, yeah. But anyway, other than that, like I said, I could go on for days, but I am interested just because I think HBO does a good job, and there are definitely things in the book that I think would be cool if they.
Oh,
had
Ty,
the
did they do
time
a good
to-
job with Velma? Are you saying they did a good job?
See, I didn't say
Is that
everything
what-
that they do, and
that what,
again, Mindy
HBO did?
Kaling. I don't
Yeah.
know. Dude, there's some weird conspiracy things about that she's intentionally like tanking the ideology of leftism and all that stuff because it's so far. It's like showing an ugly mirror to how stupid all these ideas are.
Hmm.
But then I'm like, but it doesn't seem self-aware, and it doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I haven't watched it, but we live in a time where sometimes watching content from like some of my favorite YouTube channels is more entertaining than the $1 million production they're mocking. How crazy is that? Like, that's the time and age where we have $1 million
Yeah.
Disney productions like the Marvels coming out. Like, is any one of you have any desire to go see Marvels? I didn't even see the first Captain Marvel,
Bro,
let
I-
alone
I've
go
lost-
watch this
I've-
dumpster
I've-
fire. I mean, it's just amazing. It's rumored $275 million budget. Like,
I hope they lose it all.
yo, it's
Holy
gonna
crap.
flop royally. And then like I'm gonna watch every YouTuber that I love just tear it to shreds because that's the economy we live in now. Like, it's crazy, but like we're fortunate that we can still get good entertainment, but it's not
Right,
coming
we'll get
from
the boys
Hollywood.
and Invincible to get
Yes,
a
yes, we'll still have good programming. So anyway, so looking forward to all that stuff, and very much looking forward to last thing, Killers of the Summer Moon, or excuse me, Killers of the Flower Moon, is the new Martin Scorsese film coming out, and Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De
3.5
Niro,
hours
and a bunch of
long,
other Native
though.
Americans. I couldn't be
3.5.
bothered to learn their names, but
Crazy.
what's that, Grant?
3.5 hours long.
No, it's like 3 hours and 49 minutes or something. It's like something
like Zack
obscene amount of
Snyder
time.
level.
And I'm thinking, I don't think it's possible I can make it through holding my pee the entire time. I don't think it's possible.
That's Drew's
have
kind of
to-
movie, right? He loves long movies.
I'm excited. I
wants
really am
long
excited.
movies.
It comes out October 20th, so that's the movie I'm going to be going to see. And I wanted to go see. Did you guys see that new JD Washington movie directed by the guy that did Rogue One?
Oh,
I think
he's
you would love it. It
the
literally looks like
boy-
Chappie.
It looks like
It
Chappie.
looks like Chappie. I'm
It
like,
looks
I would
like-
love this.
It looks like Neil Blomkamp's kind of film.
that's
looks
what
like
I actually thought it was his movie, and I was
Yeah,
excited.
yeah.
And then when I found out it was Rogue One, I'm like, I'm not interested.
I think it's Rogue One's easily
Mm.
by far one of the most interesting Star Wars products we've had.
I want to see his original cut
20 years.
before Disney like put their
I
fingers.
respectfully disagree.
I
Which
agree.
which
I
Star Wars
totally-
product?
I want to see his
Yeah, thank
product
you, Grant.
before all the
Cameron, could you give me
reshoots.
another Star Wars product that you liked better than Rogue One in the last 15 years? He left.
Yeah.
I
I
think he
like
lost
Force
the
Awakens.
argument.
Revenge of
Force
the Sith.
Awakens.
Revenge of
And
the
Force
Sith.
Awakens. Force Awakens.
Okay, well,
it's-
in
it's
15
literally
now
just-
that
it's
I said
nicer
15
graphics,
years,
New
I
Hope.
don't know if that falls in that category. That's early 2000s. isn't it?
Mandalorian, the first season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
also,
I agree.
like
There
Grant
was
said,
parts.
Force Awakens. Yeah, it's literally copy and paste New
Force
Hope with nicer graphics, but it's good.
But JJ Abrams is here to save the day. That's no way to treat a Jedi weapon. That's no way to treat a billion-dollar franchise.
Although
not
I'll
to
never-
plan 3 movies ahead. Like,
Although I'll never forgive them for not making
Nuts.
Finn a Jedi, but you know,
guys, they acquired the rights this for $4 billion, and they did so much to plan 3 movies ahead. That's all they had to do was create a story that marked 3 stories. They couldn't even bother to do that. They're like, go ahead, you direct this one. What could possibly go wrong? Your Snoke theory is stupid. Ryan Johnson, yeah, tanked it, and then they had to give it back to. It's the craziest story of all time. Like I want to do a BlackBerry version of the Star Wars acquisition from Lucasfilm, and them talking a Steve Jobs moment where Kathleen Kennedy's in the room. And J.J. Abrams, and it was like, here's my idea, like it's a soft pitch reboot, and they're like, okay, that's fine, we'll do it. And it made so much money, and they're like, Ryan Johnson couldn't possibly this up, and it's just Ryan Johnson with so much to prove, and it makes this movie, and it just puts people like nerd culture at war against like a Disney corporation. Like that's an amazing thing.
Also,
and they're
Clone
toppling it down. Disney
Clone Wars is easily the best thing that Star Wars has made in the past 15 years.
Which one?
Clone
Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Clone Wars. See, and I find that interesting because you are referring to other things. I just meant like, if you're going to look at like, it has to be like a movie, right? Like Rogue One was a theater release. I guess there was a Clone Wars cartoon movie that did get released, but like, yeah, like in the last 15 years.
That was better than the last 2 of the.
Yeah, I think Rogue One was more interesting than any of the 3 New Hope, Jedi, Last Jedi, and what Rise of Skywalker or whatever. Rise of Palpatine, actually. I mean, Palpatine gets the last laugh, right? It's his granddaughter. He won. That movie's so stupid.
Real quick, I want to do what I've seen.
I'm done.
Ty, you'll be proud. I rewatched the Batman.
I saw your Letterboxd review. Come to the dark side, baby.
Wait, did it
Grant,
go up?
Yes.
For me,
You gave it 4
went-
stars.
For me, it went from a 5 out of 10 to 8 out of 10.
Wow.
Ooh.
So
boy.
I just
Quick
talked
question.
about.
Yeah, give us some of your pointers. What changed? You're like, oh, dude, I appreciated this more. Or what? Like, what
Well,
changed?
so
your
I
opinion?
still have the same gripes of I wish Riddler was more composed and less manic, because I think that's very not.
Ave Maria.
Yeah, for me, I felt like he was trying too much to be Heath Ledger, which I'm like, I
agree.
kind of understand that, but and I
Like,
just
bro,
wish we
you're
got,
trying too hard.
I wish we got more Detective Bruce and more of the relationship with Alfred, because I feel like Alfred, you can't have a Batman movie without more Alfred, which that was like,
Yeah.
but like with all that being said, super impressed. Like cinematography, insane. The shots in
I
it,
will
like,
say,
so beautiful.
one thing I want to add is I kind of appreciated him being at odds with Alfred for the first
No,
time.
100%.
Because I hadn't seen that before, where he's like, whatever, dude. And I'm like, oh, interesting. Because he hasn't grown to liking me. Because even in Batman Begins, there was a little testiness with him where he's like, why do you even freaking care, Alfred? It's not your family. And he's like, I give a ding. I give a because I built this mansion brick by brick. So anyway, I love that. But
no,
yeah,
see, 100%. I didn't have any gripes with their
Yeah.
relationship. I wish there would have been a deeper dive and more exploration of it,
yeah.
because like that's if that's an interesting route you want to go of the strained relationship between them two. I think it's a cool route to go because it's very different, but you need to explore it more. You can't just give me 2 scenes and then be like, they're holding hands now, everything's okay. I'm like, okay, I don't really feel anything, and I don't really know who Alfred is if I didn't know a backstory. And then also this, like the soundtrack and the score is so good. Like I love every person's kind of individual sounds that come on. I also thought the chemistry between him and Selena was much more palpable. The first time I was kind of like, what the fudge? She's like, Bruce Wayne's such a I'm like, what? And so like on the rewatch, it made, I don't know, it just felt much more digestible and like realistic, where I'm like, okay, I could like see them, because they're both like loners and outsiders, feeling connected with each other.
I was like, I can get behind a black Catwoman. That's
well, and that's I was just impressed at kind of how they navigated that. And then I watched Sin City with Jordan and
in City.
Sin
City.
Oh, Sins. I'm sorry.
And
I was like, in City, yes.
Insidious?
I know, that's what I was thinking.
In
I'm
City,
like, what?
Sin City.
And I mean, the art style was super cool. It was a little jarring how unconnected the stories were. I wasn't expecting like 3 different comic books in one.
You're
movie.
making a big mistake. Oh, yeah.
You already
And-
made
You
a
already
big
made a
mistake
big
by not
mistake yourself.
flushing.
You didn't flush.
And so
It's so good, dude.
and then and in my letterbox review I talked a little bit about it. I said Jessica Alba and Bruce Willis's relationship is the most illegal thing ever. And I said, Jessica, you could use someone you could use a man your age. And then I put in parentheses me. And
I don't know, Cameron. I think the yellow guy's relationship to anyone. Oh, he'll scream.
yeah,
I took his weapon away, both of them.
But the violence makes so much sense that Jordan was telling me Tarantino was on the set. So like that totally makes sense.
Like, it needs for blood, man.
Yeah. And then I've been watching a little bit of The Bear. I'm on season 2. It's crazy good. It's extremely stressful. Holy cow. And there's been more John Bernthal, which is like I love. And oh my gosh, man.
Wait.
What is that clip from? I've seen that.
It's from The Punisher.
It's from Punisher.
Oh.
He's like, wait. But it's always the funniest memes. I'm sorry. I know,
Oh,
it's
I've
like,
seen that
what?
so many times now. I don't
Yeah.
remember that because I watched The Punisher. Maybe it's season 2. I couldn't get through season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Have you
So
watched The
good.
Punisher,
Too.
Cameron? It's really good. The first season.
No, the only parts of Punisher I've seen is from I watched like season 1 through 3 of Daredevil, or 1 through 2.
Oh, that's right. He's in that. Yeah.
Yeah, and he shows up I think in season 2 of Daredevil, and he was the best part of Daredevil. So
Well,
I need to watch
you
it.
need to watch it.
I know. And then I'm almost finished with The Batman. Excellent. And then last night I double featured at the theater and went and saw Barbie and Gran Turismo by myself.
Barbarismo? I didn't
watched
know that was
Barbie
a double
again?
feature. Yeah.
I hadn't watched Barbie.
Oh,
So
What'd you think?
I was
Crap.
really impressed. I really enjoyed it. I would give it 4 stars. For me, I was
It's great news, Cameron. Can you turn
I
in
was-
your man card now, please?
And in my review, I said to the couple making out next to me in the theater, I hope you both are infertile, because these people were like, they brought a blanket and were like on top of each other in the movie, and I'm like, what the fudge are you doing here? So almost ruined my
Dang.
viewing experience. But like,
But then Cameron just started eating his popcorn and watching that rather than the movie.
well,
um,
I agree. The beginning of it was great, and also what's his name, Ryan Gosling.
so good. See, I
Yes,
laughed out loud
amazing.
like 8 or 9 times. I'm gonna right here. I'm gonna we have a right now. And I just thought I thought it was like a little preachy at times. I think there was 2 or 3 scenes where I was
little?
like, I was like the line that there's nothing harder than being a woman. I was like, all right, let's settle down. And so like there was
Hey,
a
you're in the
couple-
hot tub too. What
And so-
are you complaining?
and so there was moments like that I was like, okay, it's a little too preachy, but you kind of expect that with Greta Gerwig. But the soundtrack was awesome. I was also pretty impressed with, I mean, this, for a lot of people who don't know Ryan Gosling's range, I was glad that this movie showed his range, because I think like most people who've seen The Nice Guys know his like comedic range, but like if you haven't seen things like that, you wouldn't really like know that. And so I'm glad it kind of like is more like, because comedic Ryan Gosling is so funny, like especially like ironically.
Crazy Stupid Love, dude. Funny movie.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
but he's even like a lady killer in that.
Yeah. But his
I-
comedic timing, dude, when he's looking at Steve Carell dressed in his shoes, kills me
Yeah.
every time, dude.
But
He's looking at him. It's
see, but I was impressed. I felt
Disgusted.
like the message and like the moment where Barbie's with like the creator, I thought that was like weirdly spiritual, and like I thought it was really cool how it was almost like the complexities and hard times of life like make everything else worthwhile. And then I said the message to me on top of that was, I am Knuff and everyone is Knuff, but especially me.
Enough.
And then I was really impressed with Gran Turismo. It's literally
Neil
nerd-
Blomkamp.
It's literally nerd Ford versus Ferrari. Like
That's Neil,
Yeah, Neil Blomkamp made this.
the guy who did Chappie.
District 9. Yeah.
What?
like I'm telling you, it's literally
It looks good.
It's literally nerd Ford versus Ferrari. Ford versus Ferrari, my top 100, and I absolutely
Oh,
love
is this the video game guy who
it.
becomes
Yeah.
a real
It's-
driver?
It blows my mind that this is based on a true story.
Wow.
It's
cool.
literally Grant.
Yeah.
So I don't want to drive fast
Grant
cars.
became a driver.
And I was surprised at how much emotion was in the movie. and like how much I cared for the characters.
So far, Grant has failed to earn money and become famous playing video games. Unlike the Turismo kid. But yeah, Jordan, just like Grant.
But also, like I the humor also in Gran Turismo was pretty funny. Like like the audience was laughing a lot with like because they use he listens to like Enya to calm him down a lot to before matches, and so it's just like it's like super intense build up, and then it's like celebrate, 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 and like
See, that
every
makes me
time.
laugh. I love hearing stuff like that. I'm gonna go
And
see
so
that
every
movie
time it
now.
would come
Yeah.
on, everyone in the audience was like laughing, and it's funny because like they would even show other people's perspective, like Hopper's there to like coach him or whatever, and he's just like sitting there and just listening to Enya, and he's like, "Hey, you all right, bud?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm just trying to relax." So, but yeah,
That's funny.
overall really enjoyable. Gave it like 4.5 stars. It was like really
movie.
fun.
Yeah, true underdog story, right?
Does it have? Wait, doesn't I heard that the actual guy is like a stunt driver in the show, right?
Yeah, so that's what's crazy is the actual person that the movie's based off
That's
of.
cool.
He's his own stunt double. So he's the character portraying him. He's the stunt double driving the car. I'm like, what the fudge? It's like so insane.
It's pretty cool.
That's like Death Proof, Cameron.
Not
Yeah,
like
he's like,
Death
I'm gonna
No,
get.
she is. She's an actress, and she really does her own stunts.
Yeah, does her own stunt.
Wow.
So he's like, he just made a part for the stunt. For
Or
he's
it's like,
I could
any
get an
Jackie
actress to
Chan
play
or
it.
Tom Cruise movie, Jordan.
That's
Right.
true.
But
Jackie Chan. Oh,
but
my
there
gosh.
is something to be said about that. I think it's kind of cool that he's driving.
Yeah, there's something to
this-
appreciate, Cameron.
Dude, I don't understand why
I believe there's a
everyone
him in
loves
all
Death
of
Proof
us.
so much.
As Quentin's best movie.
Oh, that's such blasphemy. You know
Death
it, dude.
Proof is not his best movie. You really got to be sitting in my seat.
Um, and then just looking forward to finishing the Batman as well as the Bear, and then also like a person who they had like some of my favorite movies in their top like 10. One of their recommendations was Blowout. So I'm like, maybe I'll check it out.
It's Quentin Tarantino. He recommends it to everybody. When he
Just
worked
be
at a movie
ready
store,
because
he says it's
you
his
know,
top 3.
I think
most
the
recommended.
poster's still the most
Wow.
interesting thing about that whole movie.
You
I
haven't
watched.
finished it yet, Ty.
Oh.
Well,
the ending.
you,
The ending
you
is the
didn't
best
want
part.
to finish it. You didn't want to finish
Well,
it.
because it's. I've seen it so many times already. So
you know, I do
Okay.
need to finish it though. Very interested to see how it ends.
yeah, the ending.
How about
the
you,
best
Grant?
part.
What have you seen lately? What are you looking forward to?
I've been watching 24 with Elise. We're on season 3 now. It's really, really good.
Yes.
Grant's like, torture the
Um,
terrorist. Get the information we need.
Yeah.
It only gets better.
Well, it was funny because we got through
Save
most of
lives.
season 1, and then Elise was like, I don't know if I can keep watching this. And then
Dude, we all
like,
skip season 1.
Yeah,
I know,
go
I know, I
straight to
know.
season 2.
Well, yes, we watched all the recaps of season
Yeah.
1, so we like figured out what happened, and then we started with season 2 after that, and then she started
Literally
liking
in
it
season
again.
2, they tell you the recap of 1. They're like, my wife's dead
Yeah.
and I'm trying my best to be a good dad. And then you're like,
Yeah.
great. That's all you need to know.
Pretty much,
What-
yeah.
What else? do
So,
I need
and
to
season
know?
3 is just really good because it's the
And
bio.
Nina Myers is behind
the
us.
devil. Yeah.
The devil woman.
I forever will hate that sound because it's just that
Beep,
is the sound of
beep,
FOMO to
beep,
me. It's just Cameron, you're in bed while everyone else is watching this movie on max
That's so
volume. And I'm like, can I get some water?
Could you
Dad's
turn
like,
it
"Go back to
down?
bed."
Shut up. Go back to
That's
bed.
funny.
You're not old enough
Um,
to watch this.
I'm trying to think of what else I've seen. Oh, I watched the first episode of Daryl Dixon. It's, I guess, is a spinoff of The Walking Dead. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'll keep watching it, but
Is your top 10 actor in it, Grant?
no,
Is it
Rick
another
is not
top
in
10
it.
performance?
Wait, why is that? Why is
No, remember we
Rick,
did top 10
remember
actors and Rick.
my honorable mention was
Rick.
Rick.
Greg's like,
And then
season
Cameron's like,
1,
"What's the other
season
thing
2,
he's?"
season 3?
I was like, "Season 2,
Rick season
3?"
2, season 3?
Yeah, but it's interesting because it's like it takes place in France, and it's Daryl Dixon who is like the most probably loved character of Walking Dead, and so it's like I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. They have
Also-
like the single fire guns, and they have like bayonets and stuff.
The biggest
So it's
mistake
kind
they
of like an
made,
interesting
in
feel.
my
Left over from the
opinion,
French
because I
Revolution?
started watching it, and I'm like, this could have been the perfect opportunity for Robert Kirkman to like write the story, because that's the one character he didn't get to write, and so I
Right.
think it would
That
be
would have been cool. Yeah,
it would be so. And he's such
Let
a
him take
good
over.
writer. He is amazing. Like, watch
Yeah.
freaking Invincible. He's so good.
Yeah. Well,
okay, wait,
and
sorry,
'cause-
real quick. Another thing I'm looking forward to: Taika Waititi's coming out with a new movie. It looks so amazing.
Yeah.
It's about like a Samoan the country of Samoa is like trying
Michael
to create
Fassbender, soccer.
Yeah. Next
Uh-huh.
goal
It's
wins.
Ted Lasso the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, looks
Right?
so good.
Yeah, it's Ted Lasso the movie. Or
directed by
Bad News
Taika.
Bears. Yeah. No.
So I'm like,
Nice.
it can't not be enjoyable.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I will say, yeah. As far as Taika, yeah, I'm glad he's no longer in Marvel. Make original movies.
Yeah.
It's like a Cool Runnings meets.
You could
Bad
tell
News
he was
Bears. Yeah,
phoning
very
in
excited.
that last movie, Love and Thunder. Oh, he just
Phoning
wanted
in
to
is the
be
biggest
done.
understatement ever.
However, Christian Bale's going for it. But,
Oh, yeah.
even he couldn't save it.
Yeah, as hard as Christian Bale tried to save that, those goats tried even harder.
The screaming goats.
I'll burn through my list if I can. So I watched Planet Terror again for the many time. Me and Cameron started half of it, and so I watched it the second time.
And then the next morning, Jordan's like, I don't really feel like finishing it. I'm
because I
like,
just watched it like 2 days before you.
but then you made me start it. Like freaking.
I was ready that night to finish it, but you kept falling asleep. So sorry, you had your chance.
Because we started it at 1:30. Jordan's like, are you tired? I'm like, I mean, kind of.
It's 3:00 in the morning.
And then
weak.
I
I
watched.
hate it. He always just does like the look over to see if your eyes are still open.
Well, because
Or
I
if
don't
you're
want to
not
watch it
laughing.
alone.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be alone.
And then I
Funny.
rewatched Candyman. The first one is so good. The remake's garbage. And then I watched Saw 10.
Oh,
It's,
does it not stack up to the other 9?
it's pretty much like the rest of them. So like the problem was I had a bad theater going experience. So because I went.
What happened?
Jordan
Okay,
gets latched in and they're like, we're going to play a game. We're going to gas everybody in this theater. And whoever can eat all of you.
No,
can be the
I was
On
last
my
to eat
letterbox,
you.
I commented on Jordan. I said, "Was your Saw 10 punishment to watch this movie?"
No, so
you must sit
I-
through this entire movie.
I went to the not checkout. What's it called when you're gonna get food? The concession stand.
I've
and
been milking this franchise for too long.
This girl cut these 2 girls cut in front of me, and I kind of
rude.
well, and then I sighed, and then the girl's like, "Oh shoot, did we cut in front of you?" And I should have just let them go, but I'm like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And they're like, "Oh no, we didn't realize you were here." And so I go, but the concession clerk guy, he would not have it. He wouldn't serve me. And so I was like, okay. And so he served them first, and then he got my. And then I was like,
Okay, real quick. Were these girls at all attractive?
I mean, I didn't think so.
Okay,
But
was your concession a dude?
yeah,
Well, we all know why this happened.
yeah. He
The
just
night
He's
he
got to
made,
shining
impress the
armor.
ladies.
yeah, he
yeah.
just made a huge
Yeah.
scene out of it, and I was just
Yeah.
like, I felt so sick to
You
my
haven't
stomach,
seen The Godfather?
and so I couldn't. And then I was in the theater with those girls, so I was just feeling really guilty the whole time, and I was like thinking about it the whole time. So I had a hard time enjoying the movie.
Don't worry, Jordan.
And-
One
and
day
Jordan
you'll be
said that they-
kidnapped, and then they'll be like, "You butt in line in the movie theater, and now we're gonna gouge your eyes out. You'll appreciate life or something like that."
I'm pretty sure Jordan said they had like a hearing like impairment as well, or something.
Well, maybe no. I thought they might have been autistic because they both had headphones on, and like the big ones, noise canceling, and they were wearing them. So I'm because I've seen like Atypical. That kid does that so he can like be in crowds of people.
Jordan, I don't know how to tell you this, but the younger generation, they're not all autistic. I
Well-
mean, I understand that a lot of them do. Wear
I know. I was like,
headphones.
maybe that's just what kids do now. They all wear big noise canceling headphones. I don't know. Like,
Jordan assumes they listen to music with big headphones. We're recording this podcast. We don't all have Down syndrome here, Jordan. Okay, like, we're not all special.
that's
I
not what I
love you,
mean.
Jordan.
Like, it's just odd that they were wearing
Uh.
wearing their noise canceling headphones in public, right? Is that like not? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe-
I love you to
Okay,
death,
I'll
Jordan.
just stop
I-
talking.
Jordan's like, oh no, it's okay. You can cut in front. Are you autistic?
I almost asked him. I was like, oh, are
What's
you
wrong,
girls?
what's wrong with your friend? Is she? You go ahead in front of me. Go in front of me.
No,
The
I was
guy's like,
serious-
"Hey man, what's wrong with you? These ladies are handicapped, man."
That reminds me. when
Jordan's
he's
like,
oh,
"Serve my ticket first."
that reminds me of that Ben Stiller movie. It was something about Mary. He's like, oh, I work with all the time. I don't think that's the politically correct term. And he's like, I don't care. No one can tell me what to. He's like, who I can and can't hang out with. And she's like,
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
yes.
gosh. Yes.
And then I watched rewatched Rosemary's Baby. That's amazing.
There's
With,
something in its eyes. Sorry.
This isn't a dream at all.
This isn't a dream. This is really happening.
And then
So scary.
I watched Whiplash with Dad and Cameron. Oh my gosh,
Forgot about that.
so good.
Oh,
Dad
with you and
loved
you and
Did Dad like it?
Dad like
Dad loved it, but then it resulted.
Dad's like,
in us
I
having
agree
to
with him.
watch like 6 different YouTube videos of drum solos, and I was like, I guess we deserve this.
Yeah.
Oh, afterwards he's like, let me show you a real drummer.
Yep.
No, but it
Oh,
was
that's
funny.
interesting.
Dad
Did he
referenced
find
it
a
the
lot in
next
common with
day.
J.K. Simmons and the reason why we relate to this movie and think of him as J.K. Simmons? Did he
Well,
know
it's-
that or
no.
not?
He
No,
kept saying
but-
he's horrible. This guy's horrible.
You're like, Dad,
Like,
this
imagine
is
growing up
you.
in a household like that.
Yeah, imagine growing up with this. That would have been really sucky, right?
No, Ty, it's funny. He mentioned it when we were watching Conference the next day. He's like, imagine if the Motab director was just like him. I was like,
That's hilarious.
I was like, that's a crazy reference coming from you, Dad.
And then I also watched Sin City with Cameron. I love that movie so much. So many great quotes. And then
Oh my gosh.
I rewatched
No.
Pandorum, which is The Descent in Space. I love it so much. It's the
Bro,
greatest.
Bro, you
sci-fi.
watch that movie way too many
I
times.
know, it's so good. At least once a year. And then
I think you should just watch the trailer again, Jordan. It would probably get your fix in because it's all the good parts of the movie.
no, every part
Yeah,
is the good
one
part. And
visual
then
of water and a guy clapping his head or whatever. That's Jordan's
the whole
favorite
everything
part.
is like practical sets, so it's beautiful. And then I watched 9 to 5 with my wife. She'd watch
I
it
will
for the
say
first
that would
time.
be the most horrifying alarm
haven't
clock.
seen them
Waking up
forever.
and a bunch of zombie space aliens were just tearing you apart.
Nope,
Yeah.
nope.
Wake
I'll
up from
take that.
cryo sleep. Am I at the 3 rings of Saturn yet? Oh my gosh, I'm being disemboweled.
I'm taking that over Descent every day of the week, bro.
Yeah. No,
then-
wait. So are you putting Descent above or are
Descent
you
would
saying
be way worse. I would, if to be locked in a cave with.
Cameron hates that
Oh,
movie.
okay, yeah.
I hate.
No,
the
but I
claustrophobic
love
aspect
Descent
of it.
as a movie better than Pandorum.
It's so funny. Harry loves that movie.
Which
Descent? Oh,
Yeah.
I think I showed it to I showed him and
Well,
Dylan.
I
We
showed him at
watched-
college, and then or either you showed him first or I showed him first.
And then
Nice.
I rewatched Dread because it's amazing, and the behind the scenes make it so much better. I'm not even kidding.
Is
And
that
then
the Keith Urban one or Carl Urban?
is he the guy from Lord of the Rings and
No,
And Boys? Yeah.
the boys? Yeah,
Carl Urban, I think.
yeah. And then
Keith
I watched,
Urban, I'm pretty sure is a singer.
Yeah.
and then then I
Thank
watched
you.
the Boogeyman. It was alright. And then I watched Calibre, which Ty recommended. Which
Yeah,
man, you
it's
guys keep
Caliber.
recommending-
Stop saying
Whatever,
Calibre.
this
Caliber.
movie.
Calibre.
You stressed me out.
Calibre.
I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but it was Eden Lake all over again, Cameron.
Yeah. So wait, Cameron, have you seen this?
No, I hate Eden Lake.
Oh, really?
That's one of my least favorite movies of all time.
Okay.
It's
Cameron
so
Grant, do either of
stressful.
you care if I spoil it here or not? Because I do want to talk
I don't
about it,
know.
and I don't think we'll ever talk about it on the podcast, or will we?
I don't know if I'll watch it. Maybe I'll watch it.
I don't know.
I tend to forget. Like I'm rewatching 24,
Jordan-
and I'm like,
Jordan, would
I
I
have no
like
idea
it?
what happens.
It's literally
been on my
Eden
watch
Lake,
list for,
so
it's been on my
I don't
watch
know.
list forever.
I think it's more interesting to talk about because, but like, yeah, I can give you spoilers here if you guys
No,
want, real
just-
quick,
Maybe we'll talk about it. I don't know.
someday.
Maybe. I don't know. If you want to talk about it, talk about it.
Well, I feel bad because if Jordan, I knew Jordan would like it to an
Yeah.
extent that
I did.
I did. And I don't know if Cameron or Grant you would enjoy it as much. Like I'll put it this way: a hunting accident goes wrong, and a series of events gets worse and worse.
Because they try to I know they try to like cover up the body and stuff like that. Because I watched this trailer spoils a whole lot.
I know, and I cannot believe I didn't warn you guys because
Well,
I watched the
I
trailer.
watched
after
the
fact.
trailer like 8 months ago, and I still
Okay.
remember, like, half the
I
movie.
went in
It-
blind. This was a recommendation from Filmento. So one of my favorite YouTube channels, Filmento, talks about how to make a movie better or how a movie, like Anatomy of a Failure. He talks about why a movie works or it doesn't. And he offers suggestions on how to fix it. He's like one of my favorite YouTubers. He's not just all negative, but he made a joke about Caliber and he was like, he referenced the Iron Man scene with Jeff Bridges. He's like, Tony Stark built this in a cave. He's like, with a box of scraps. Like he's showing the budget of Caliber, which is like a fraction of like the big mega multi-million dollar Hollywood franchises these days. And he was just saying like the dramatic irony from a movie like this is so poignant and powerful.
Mm.
While like these $1 million productions, they just fall flat, like they're no good. And so I saw only that, and he was singing its praises, and he goes, what's really great about this movie is you have dramatic irony, and it works here really, really well because there are certain characters that have information that others don't, and it's called dramatic irony. And there's a lot of that in the Across the Spider-Man verse, right? There are scenes where Miles is talking to his father. He knows he's talking to his father, but his father doesn't know he's Spider-Man. So he's trying to talk to him one way, knowing that he's obviously his son, and he's telling his dad how he could talk to his son. Like maybe he's scared to talk to you, stuff like that. It's called dramatic irony because you have a character that has bits of information that another one doesn't, and they're talking, and you wish that they would know and they would come together, but it adds tension. Anyway, Caliber is a lot of that, where there's this horrific thing that happens, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, and it just keeps building, and it's so stressful. But I loved it. It seems like one of those books that you should have read, kind of like in The Most Dangerous Game kind of thing, where you read it or watch it and you're like, yeah, at what point, because like what point do you stop rooting for the heroes? But you're like, no, not even that. Like, what would you do in a situation like this? Like if it all laid out just like it did, which I think they did the movie best they could with that situation at the end, where you're just like, oh man,
I don't know. I definitely need
it's
to
heart-wrenching.
discuss. I don't know.
It's heart-wrenching. But I liked it, and I kind of hoped and that's why I want to talk about it more in depth, but we'll do that later, Jordan, because I do want to talk to you about it more. So definitely give Caliber a watch. Don't watch the trailer because it will spoil what the thing is, and like you said, Cameron, but it's a very good watch. It's quick.
Last movie I watched was Reptile on Netflix. I mean, we were talking about this on the pod. I mean,
yeah,
my choice.
Yeah, that sounded interesting. I didn't see the trailer for it because I actually prefer going thing blind now. I just look at recommendations from YouTubers that I like, from you, Jordan. So I don't want to know anything
Tyler
about
recommended this on Letterboxd, and I was like, okay, I like Benicio. Is it Benicio del Toro?
Benicio del Toro. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him, and it also is Justin Timberlake, which is probably my favorite role of his because he just plays kind of a sad like loser.
What is this website on your computer? Facebook? Sorry, that's my favorite role. It's our time up here. Down there's their time.
Anyways, amazing. Like seriously reminded me of True Detective. That's what it's called. And
I like standing next to you. It makes me feel big.
Social Network. Yeah, it's so slow. Like, and I'm sure plenty of people don't like it because of how painfully slow. It kind of reminded me of the Jared Leto Psycho movie. What did we watch? That serial killer one. Remember where
American Psycho?
No, Jared Leto.
Not Murder by Numbers.
And Denzel Washington.
Yeah, it's the most forgettable movie title of all time.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington,
Jared Leto.
Leto.
But it reminds me a lot of that. Like it's really
little
good
memories, little notes,
little numbers, little
things, the little things.
The little things.
The little things. Dumbest title. Can we just say this? The Little Things. That sounds like a romantic comedy. Oh, it's the little things he does for me. This is a fetching serial killer movie called The Little Things.
But once you know, like, oh, it's the little things that detectives have to spot. Like, I like that idea.
Stupid title. Call it obscure details. That's a better title, and I just pulled that out of my butt. Thank you.
Anyways, so this is seriously. If you're in the mood you have to be in the mood for a slow detective movie. Mm-hmm.
What's it called again?
Reptile.
No, I was teasing for the little things. Well, guys, it's been Futro Hidden Movie Gems. We love you, listeners. Leave us an email at futurohiddenmovies@gmail.com. Tell us a movie that you'd like us to review, and we'll consider it, especially if you're Indian. We love you guys, and this has been Futro Hidden Movie Gems signing out. Peace.
You're so bad.
Bye.
Cindy, I love you. I don't remember what the line was.